Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Rob Motive JT. I have a bit of a conundrum. I want a new Jeep. Particularly, I want a new Jeep Wrangler two-door. It's something that I struggle with off and on. So I've been kind of thinking, I have a Jeep Gladiator right now, and I love the Gladiator. It's not something I want to get rid of, and no way am I going to have two Jeeps. So I kind of thought of a few reasons why, I guess, I would not get a Jeep Wrangler like this one right back here. It's my wife's, and I know you're probably thinking, well, gee, you already have one. Why would you get another one? Well, if your household is like mine, then that's hers. She drives it. I don't drive it except for to make the occasional video, maybe to do an oil change, something like that. Just keep things circulated because she doesn't drive it a whole lot. But it's her vehicle. Hands off. So here are the reasons I can think of. And let me know if you guys agree. Number one, there's no bed. Obviously, there's no bed on a two-door Jeep Wrangler. I can haul stuff with my Jeep Gladiator, but I do have a Toyota Tacoma, and I will always have a Toyota Tacoma. That means I'm always going to have a bed. I could put stuff in the back of that truck. That's not a very strong argument against, I guess. Next up, it's not as comfortable, and it's not. The Jeep Wrangler is a rougher, more rugged ride for sure. It's bouncier, it's harsher, and I know this particular one is lifted, has bigger wheels and tires and all that stuff, which does contribute to the inferior ride quality. But I have had other Jeep Gladiators in the past, or Jeep Wranglers in the past. I've had probably 3 or 4 of them. And they were always rough and bouncy. And they were never lifted or anything. They were always stock. That's a pretty good argument against, I think. The roll factor. Now, what I'm talking about is a two-door Jeep Wrangler with a lift is much more likely in the right situation or the wrong situation to roll over. Now, this might be a little bit more predominant for me because I actually almost had it happen once. Years ago, I was on a freeway going too fast. It was wet and dry in places. It had rained. I came up on stop traffic on a curve, hit the brakes, turned the wheel, and it started to do one of these on me. I actually hit my head on the roll bar. It was a pretty scary experience. So I kind of have that a little bit in my head as well. There's no room inside. I mean, if you look inside a Jeep Wrangler, there is no room in here. I mean, let's just take a quick look. If you just look in here a little bit, obviously in the back seat, I don't even know why they have one. Getting in the back seat here on the side, that's a drag. I don't even know why it's there, to be honest. I've ridden in the back seat of it before, and let me tell you, it's a pain to get in, it's a pain to get out, and it's not very comfortable back there. Different than the Jeep Gladiator. While the Gladiator isn't cavernous inside, definitely has more room than the Jeep Wrangler does, and it's more comfortable. More difficult to get in and out of, as I just mentioned a second ago. It's definitely more difficult to get in and out of. Now, again, I could be a little bit slanted on this because this Wrangler is lifted. So you have to step higher up. I'm 5'9.5". I think I'm actually 5'10.5" with shoes on. But nonetheless, still, it's more difficult to get in and out of. It's a tighter area to go through the doorway. At least it feels that way. Not like that in the Gladiator. I kind of just step over the steps. I don't even know why I have them on the Gladiator. And then just kind of scooch onto the seat. When I get out, I just kind of slide off. I do use the step to get off. I kind of put my left foot on that and then lower myself down, I guess. But nonetheless, it's still easier. The point of egress and entry, is that the same thing? I don't even know. Next up, it's louder. Jeeps aren't exactly the quietest beasts out there anyway, right? I mean, they're basically moving rectangles, moving squares. The wind buffets and hits everything. And if you have a soft top, it's even worse. That top is constantly slapping against things, moving up and down on its own frame. I mean, it really is quite loud. Now, that doesn't really bother me a whole lot, but I imagine if you went anywhere long distance, after a while, hearing everything slap around in there, as compared to the Gladiator, would get a little bit annoying. I don't know if that would really bother me a whole lot or not. I kind of think back to times that I've had the top off on Jeeps, and after a while, if you're going anywhere, it really does start to drive you nuts if you're at higher speeds. I mean, cruising down the freeway at 65 to 70, 75 mile an hour for an hour, 2 hours, something like that, gets a little bit annoying, I think. Same kind of thing as what the soft top would do if you were driving long distance, even with it up. Now, a couple of reasons that I would consider moving to a Wrangler, I suppose. I've talked a little bit about getting a manual transmission. You know, soon the Honda Civic 6-speed manual back there is going to be gone. I'm trading that off on a Honda, or a Toyota rather, Prius, the new model. And I know you're probably saying, what, a Prius? Are you nuts? It's not what it used to be. Stay tuned for that. It'll be on my other channel, Hybrid Driven, if you want to check that out. And by the way, while we're talking about promos, go ahead and click the subscribe button here too if you haven't before. Now, manual transmission. I don't know how it is or how it's set up in the Jeep Wrangler. I did have one about 400 years ago, back when the cavemen were walking around with the clubs and stuff. And if I recall, it wasn't that great. But I've got to believe, hopefully, that it's been improved a bit over the years, that it would be more fun to drive. Not notchy, not clunky, kind of like the Tacoma was that I had a little while back. So it might be worth trying. Problem is trying to locate one somewhere that you can actually test drive. Good luck. Lastly, the positive, it's smaller. It's easier to maneuver around, particularly even where I live right here with multiple vehicles sitting around. It's just easier to move it, to back it up. I can actually turn it all the way around in the little drive in front of my house without having to back up and go forward and back up and go forward. It fits better in parking places. You don't have to worry so much about the inconsiderate person out there pulling on top of you, because you can put it right in the center of the lines and you've still got a good distance on either side. I like that because honestly, it would split time, most likely, with this Prius that I'm getting and the Toyota Tacoma. So, I don't know. Anyway, I'm kind of trying to talk myself out of it. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've had both, the Gladiator and the Jeep Wrangler, 2-door, or maybe even the 4-door. I wouldn't get the 4-door, but if you've had it, which one did you like better and why? Let me know. I'd be curious. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.